Hello, and today we're going to have a presentation on stargazing for self-discovery, astrology unveiled. We are going to look at what is astrology and how can it improve your daily life. So all of you know who J.P. Morgan is, and his quote is, "Millionaires don't need astrologers, but billionaires do." In this recording, you're going to find out amazing facts about astrology, components and mechanics of astrology, your astrology natal chart, which is equivalent to your soul's contract or owner's manual, finding your strengths, talents, and lessons in life, finding your purpose. Your daily life is an adventure, and we'll take any questions and answers that you could put in the comments below. How does that sound? And just in case you don't know me, I am Ev Zervoudakis, founder of Holistic Healing Astrology. It's my honor and my pleasure to present this to you. So it all starts in history. How old is astrology? It's over 6,000 years old. And through time, they've discovered more and more documents that reveal how old astrology is. So some of the earliest findings are with ancient astrology, and it's even before Vedic, and it's before Greek, ancient Greek. So it's 6,000 years old, and it's probably older if you ask me. So we have ancient astrology, and we're moving into what I practice, which is Western astrology. So the difference between the Western and the ancient is pretty vast, but Western is more on a free will. You choose the energies that are in the chart. You can manipulate the energies of the chart. You could use the higher or lower vibrations of the planets and the signs and the components, where ancient astrology tends to be very hardcore, no bending, and fatalistic. Okay, my opinion. So, holistic healing astrology is a foundational tool for healing. It helps people heal. And this is the zodiac. You're probably all familiar with it, but these are all the signs. And then we have the symbols of the signs. And this is the natural wheel. It usually starts with Aries over here and it goes around counterclockwise. These are the components and the mechanics of astrology. We have signs, planets, houses, and aspects. Here are the components in a circle. So inside the circle of the astrology chart, which is nothing more than the sky presentation, the moment that you took your first breath. So when you were born, we looked up at the sky, we took a snapshot of all the celestial placements, and there you have it, and it will be in a circle. And that includes 360 degrees, which is a circle, the signs, the planets, the houses, and the geometrical relationships with the points and the signs. So again, we have a chart, signs and houses. The signs have two building blocks, which are modalities and elements. And the houses represent areas of life. The planets are the action figures, and the signs that the planets are in represent the costume that these action figures are wearing. What kind of energy is it? Is it positive? Is it negative as far as introverted, extroverted, feminine, masculine, et cetera, et cetera. And then the aspects are the relationship between the planets or action figures. These are the symbols and their meanings here, or equivalents. So we have the planets, we have we have points that are abstract, and then we have all the signs, 12 signs. And I use Black Moon Lilith, Chiron, which is an asteroid, and a part of fortune. If you don't have the time of birth, we may not know until we could figure out your time of birth, which we can do. We look at the nodes and the part of fortune and Black Moon Lilith. We have to have a good time of birth, but it doesn't mean we can't figure it out. Okay. So the signs are broken down into two components, the elements and the modalities. The first element is fire. Aries is fire. Then we have earth elements, which goes with Taurus and the other earth signs. We have air, which has a group of air signs. Gemini is the first. And then we have water signs. The first one is Cancer. So they sequentially go around the chart in specific order. Astrology is very organized and very methodical. So these are the modalities. We have cardinal modalities, fixed, immutable. So the Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn are cardinal. And then the fixed is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And the mutable is Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. Those are the modalities. And all the elements and modalities have specific keywords so we could translate. And I use a list of keywords that I compounded, and in the book, The Astrologer's Time Saver, that's coming out very shortly in 2024. And here are the astrological signs and the dates. Aries is the beginning of the astrological new year. And it goes from March 21st, or whenever Aries is in 0 degrees and 0 minutes. And then Taurus is April 21st to about May 20th. Gemini is May 21st to June 21st. And Cancer is 6/22 to 7/23. Virgo is 8/24 to 9/22. Oh, that was Leo. Pardon me, misspoke. And then Virgo is 8/23 to 9/27. Libra is 9/23 to 10/27. Scorpio is 10/23 to 11/22. Sagittarius is 11/23 to 12/21. Capricorn is 12/22 to 1/20. And Aquarius is 1/21 to 2/18. Pisces is 2/19 to 3/20. Now, these dates vary because they really go by the ingress, or when the sign is at 0 degrees, 0 minutes. And that will determine the date, just in case you're wondering. And then these are the planets and the luminaries. So it shows, I like this presentation because it shows how big and how small the different planets are. Chiron is not in here. And then the abstract spaces are not in here either, because they're abstract points. But we have the sun, and then Mercury, Venus, Earth, and then the moon around the Earth, which is tiny, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto way out there. Okay, way out there, and Chiron's out there too. So the houses represent the areas of life. So the first house is always in this area, the 9 o'clock area, which is your appearance, personality. And then it's I am. This is I am. And it corresponds with Aries and the planet that goes with it, which is Mars. Okay. If you learn the chart, the zodiac chart, the natal chart, that is the house, the sign, and the planet, then you will know a good chunk of information at once because they have similar energies. So this is I am. These are your values, finances, self-worth. This is I have. This is your mind, speech, writing, siblings, cousins, trips, communication. And this is I speak. And then this over here is your home, your family, and your ancestors, your roots. So this is my home. And then over here are your, your creativity, romance, children. And then this is I play. This is how you play. And then this is your work, your routine, self-improvement, services. And this is I serve. Now, if you know these 6 houses, you're going to know 7 to 12. House 7 to 12, because this is personal, I or my, and then this is others or us. So this is us, partnerships, relationships, marriage, contracts. If this is my worth, this is our worth, finances, transformation, debt, taxes, anything that we share. If this is how we think, these are our philosophies and our higher learning, travel, law, beliefs, ethics. So this is your reputation, authority, visibility, status, career, and your profession. So this is your home away from home. This is your home. And then if this is children and having fun with immediate people around, like this is your friends and communities, groups, aspirations, wishes, hopes, and your vision. And then this is your routine, your work, what you do for self-improvement, services. And then over here, this is solitude, your retreat, subconscious, recharging your dreams. And this is the most mysterious of the houses. If you have any questions, make sure you put them in the comments below. So this is a configuration of aspects. What is an aspect? So let's say this is the sun over here, and it shows all the possibilities of relationships and their name up here by symbolism, and each symbolism means a certain bunch of keywords. There are many keywords for each symbol in astrology, just so you know. So the big ones and the most important ones, but I think all of them have something to say because I'm very thorough. So these are 360 degrees in a wheel. So you have one aspect here, another one here, and they're all measured by degrees, another one here. So this is 30 degrees, this is 45 degrees, 60 degrees, and they all correspond to a specific astrological name. And the big ones are the squares, everything in red, an opposition, because it means work. You have to do something if you have an opposition or a square, and sometimes a conjunction, which is if they're at the same point. Okay. A trine is a flow of energy that's very important, but you might not get any activity from it. Now, an astrologer translates all those symbols and interprets the chart. So that's what astrologers do. We look at charts all day long and we evaluate it, we analyze it, we synthesize it, we translate it, we prioritize, and then we reach conclusions. But this is all very interactive. If my client is not sitting across from me when I'm analyzing and synthesizing to translate, I might be choosing the wrong keywords. So it's very important when you get your astrology reading done that it's a consultation. It's not just me dictating this is what's going to happen. Okay. It's very important. That's why these horoscope generalizations that you see posted all over the internet and in the printed word, they may not make any sense because it's very personalized. Astrology is very precise and detailed. So we look for keywords and we're detectives. A great astrologer is a great detective. They're always digging for the root of the issues. Yep. And this is your astrology chart is your cosmic fingerprint. So it's a qualitative data analysis, and it has these steps. You become familiar with the data. And then we create the themes. We go, these are your themes because they'll echo in the chart the same, like communication, communication, communication. So you might have the third house, which has to do with information communication, Mercury, a lot of activity there, and Gemini, that means it's a repeating theme. And then we're searching for patterns and connections, and then we interpret the data, always with your help, because this chart is to help you. It's not about me being correct. It's about me facilitating the definition of your chart. You chose your chart. So the behind the scenes preparation in this data presentation is as follows. So we have to go online and we use a professional software program. I use Ephemeris, there's SolarFire, there's a whole bunch of them out there, but they all use the major astronomical telescope that plots all the points in the sky, and it's so precise, shows all the movements, and you want to be precise and you want to make sure that you put in the specific local mean time, not a time zone. I find so many mistakes that way in your ascendant. The time shows exactly where your ascendant starts, where the wheel of your astrology chart starts by degree and minute and sign. That's a very critical point. And so are all the angles in the chart. They're very, very important to an astrologer. So why do you want to look at your natal chart? Because as Aristotle said, it's to help you know thyself. There's no better self-discovery tool than your astrological chart. So by knowing who you are, you could find the joy. There's certain planets like Jupiter that represents joy, and even Sagittarius, because that's the adventure. And usually when you're doing something that is adventurous to you, it will bring you joy. So it shows you your weaknesses and your strengths. But if you have weaknesses, it could show you how to strengthen the weaknesses, and the strengths you could magnify your strengths. One of the ways to help with the weaknesses is to delegate and have other people help you, and you don't have to do the stuff that you don't like to do. We're all programmed very differently. So the talents too are also presented in the chart, and love, romance, and all the signs, which signs are compatible, because when an astrologer wants to see if a couple is good for each other, it's called synastry or compatibility charts, and we compare. Generally speaking, if you're the same element, you're probably going to get along real well. But there are so many other factors that we astrologers have to factor in. So you decide, because we have free will, and the free will is what dictates everything. So in your chart, if you are using some of your energies, let's say like Pluto, in a low vibrational way, you're vindictive, you could also use it to be transformative. Instead of being super controlling, you could ease it up and just understand their psychology, other people's psychology. Okay. So there's always a low vibration and a high vibration to the planets and the signs, even the houses. So the law of attraction is very important. And if you study Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza always says this: thoughts are electric and feelings are magnetic. That's why with the law of attraction, you got to have both. And the magnetism is showed by feelings. And who are the most feeling type signs in the astrological zodiac are the water signs. You have Cancer, you have Scorpio, and you have Pisces. And they do have a certain magnetism, okay? But electrical, there's a lot of electricity in the chart, because we're spiritual beings that created this chart and came into the earth plane to use this chart and to maximize the potential of the chart. You created the chart, believe it or not. So validation, a lot of people love their natal chart reading or consultation because it validates their soul. It's a soul contract. And when they hear what they hear, and I love doing it on Zoom, because we could look at the chart together with this big fat red arrow, and they're always amazed, just amazed. And then once you see that this is your natal chart and you start seeing that it's true, then we could superimpose the planets that are circling around now, which are called transits, and how they affect your natal chart. Your natal chart positionings never change. But as time goes on after your birth, everything is always cycling around. So life is full of cycles. Each planet has its own cycle and its own lane that it goes into. And some of them go fast, some of them go slow, some of them go reverse and forward. And so it's very interesting how those energies and frequencies out there do affect us. And if you're still a little skeptical, just remember that the Star of Bethlehem was followed by the wise men from India with gifts for the king, who was born 2 years after they started their journey. So they obviously were astrologers, and they knew to follow the Star of Bethlehem. Also, it's very important to understand that these planets out there, like the moon, affects our planet here. Just look at the gravitational pull of the tides. And full moon, ask anyone that works in the emergency room or the police station if there's more activity during a full moon. That's a scientific fact. So you have options. You know, it's not about me telling you this is the way it is. You have options because for everything the chart tells you, you have a potential for, you also have a potential to change the energies. So you could do a 1-year astrological forecast with a solar return chart. We read that chart and it will tell you what's going to happen the next year. So what do we talk about today? Today we talked about elements, modalities, signs, planets, houses, aspects, how to translate the chart, keywords, how to be a detective if you're going to be an astrologer, analysis, data presentation, consultation, to know yourself, to find joy, how to find joy, your strengths and weaknesses, your talents, love, compatibility, free will, law of attraction, validation, options, forecasts versus predictions. We don't predict. We could tell you if there's a favorable time frame, but it's up to you. Predictions, it's just a good selling point. You know, if you want to get people's attention, you make a prediction, and people love to hear bad news. And but we don't do that. You know, usually the client will tell you the bad stuff. It happens all the time with me. Okay. I don't have to bring it up. They bring it up. And it's a trust thing. All readings are confidential. So here's an example of a chart right here. And let's make my little head smaller. So right here, we have the ascendant. At the moment of birth, this person had 2 degrees Scorpio. The sun was in Gemini, 15 degrees. The moon was in Taurus, 4 degrees. The midheaven, which is your career, the highest point in your chart, is Leo. The root of this person's chart is Aquarius. And other people who would be a good fit for this Scorpio rising would be a Taurus. This person's very emotional, deep, passionate, psychological tones. This one's very practical, matter of fact, okay, with that energy there. And then this shows the different planets here, okay? We have Saturn in Scorpio. We have the North Node in Sagittarius, 2nd house, 3rd house, Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn. And then 4th house is Chiron and Mars. And you go all the way around the wheel. And so what we do is we translate it. But look here. So this is the start of the 1st house, this bold line. And this is the start of the 7th house. This is the beginning or the door of the 4th house. And this is the door or the beginning of the 10th house. Those bold lines show those are the most important sensitive areas in a natal chart. And the signs are demarked by color. So 0 degrees of Scorpio is in the 12th house. All signs are 30 degrees, but not all houses. So every sign is exactly 30 degrees, but you see the houses are different sizes, okay? Just a little tidbit of information. If you have any questions, feel free to post them on the bottom. I hope you enjoyed this consultation preview here of what astrology can do for you. You could always text or call 757-513-7771, just in case you cannot schedule on holistichealingastrology.com. If you need a discovery call because you don't know which product suits you, you could schedule that right online. We do monthly newsletters for your information. Weekly blogs is where you find our classes, anything that's new, and some informative information. We also post the class notifications on Instagram and Facebook. And we have daily videos on TikTok and the longer videos, as you're experiencing here, on YouTube. I hope that you've enjoyed this presentation. If you want to hear more from us, please subscribe so you don't miss any new videos. If you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up. And be sure to check out our websites because we have 2 published books, and the Astrologer's Time Saver will be coming out for all astrologers that need keywords at their fingertips in a spreadsheet form. It's a labor of love. And also, you could get lots of information on TikTok on a daily basis, but a very short time frame. So thank you for watching, and you get a gold prize for going all the way to the end at 36 minutes. And until I see you again, have a great day. And if you know anyone that may be interested in this information, go ahead and share this presentation with them. You have my permission. All my love, Ev Zerverdakis, Holistic Healing Astrology.